I'd like to open up with a thought. We all know, in the beginning of this week's parasha, Torah highlights the very big difference between On ben Pelet and Korach. We know, we've spoken about this over the years, how the wife of On ben Pelet saved her husband from destruction. She reasoned with him. At the end of the day, it's not your fight. Moshe Rabbeinu, Korach. Moshe wins, what do you get? Nothing. Korach wins, what do you get? Nothing. So, this isn't your fight. All you have is to lose with nothing to gain. She reasoned to him. She explained to him. And with that, she actually brilliantly, the way the Midrash explains it, she took her hair covering off. What was the pshat in that, by the way? Korach and his band comes to the house of On ben Pelet to bring him up, to pick him up on the way to the challenge against Moshe Rabbeinu. They come to the house of On ben Pelet. His wife goes out, takes off her head covering, and they start to yell and scream, "What are you doing? Tznius, what are you doing?" And it's with that they all detoured and went straight to the debate, leaving On ben Pelet behind, which later on saved his life. What was her plan? What was she thinking? How did she come up with that one? This woman was a brilliant woman. She understood that Korach was making a stance, a fight of frumkeit. He was building a stance on his religion and religious belief. He felt that he had a right, als his gadlut, to be able to get the position that he was fighting for. She was so smart. She used that very position against him. Comes Korach to pick up On ben Pelet. What does she do? She uncovers her head, knowing that he's going to interpret that as, oh my gosh, to have such a person on the team, that his wife is not as religious as we are, we can't have him. She outsmarted them, and by doing that, she used their fault against them, saved her husband. Her husband goes on to live, and Korach va'adato go down in the ground. A brilliant woman. Chazal talk about her. The difference between the wife of On ben Pelet and the wife of Korach. The wife of On ben Pelet saved her husband's life, and the wife of Korach destroyed her husband's life. And it's from here that I tell all my guys, gentlemen, a wife can either make you or break you. Choose wisely. Be careful. This is not a decision that we make kacha. This is a decision that one needs a tremendous amount of siyata d'shmaya, with tremendous tefillot, with a few teardrops in the blessing of atah honen la'adam da'at, to ask Borei Olam for the great gift of clarity. Clarity. Do you know what type of biracha it is to be dating and to go out with a girl and things are clear and understood with a direction in the eyes of the boy and the girl? How many cases we know? They're dating, and then when things start to get a little bit on the roll, and suddenly, I don't know, I do know, the svekot, back and forth, she doesn't know, he doesn't know, nobody knows nothing. And they start thinking and weighing and questioning and back and it is horrendous, and maybe even more horrific for the parents, because they don't know exactly what to say. They're not dating the girl. And it's at that point that we have to realize that even the guy that's dating isn't dating. The only one that's pulling the strings is Borei Olam. And in atah honen la'adam dat, we have to cry out, Abba, please, give me clarity. Clarity to be able to see the emet. Clarity to be able to know the emet. Clarity to be able to know and to see clear the emet. I've spoken in the past what I heard from my Rebbe many times, the great Rabbi Rabinovich. Rameir Shalom Rabinovich, my Rebbe in Eretz Yisrael, he used to tell me all the time, when you're in a matziv and you need clarity, pray to Hashem, Yancheni, b'machle tzedek l'man shemcha gadol. Guide me. I'm in the finsternis. I'm in darkness. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. Without you, Abba, I am lost. And suddenly you'll see that there's this overwhelming feeling. It's like Borei Olam coming, Kivyachol, and holding your hand and leading you down a certain path. And suddenly you start it's a feeling. We're back. This is the concept of Yancheni, that we ask Hashem to give us clarity and guide us on the biggest decisions and even the small decisions, every step in life. On Ben Pelet, he was zocheh to have a wife that later on would save him. Korach, on the other hand, ended up with a wife that destroyed him. Again, either she can make you or break you. And you need tremendous yata d'shmaya when a woman finds a husband and a husband finds a wife, to have great siyata d'shmaya in finding the person that's going to bring out your best. What was it that the wife of Korach saw in this bout turning her husband against Moshe Rabbeinu? Just like Om Ben Pelet had a smart chap to her, so too the wife of Korach. She knew that her husband had a weakness for kavod, and because of that she pitted the concept of kavod against her husband to get him to instigate, and to instigate him as well to go against Moshe Rabbeinu because his kavod was not being matched. It's amazing. And it's with that she pressed his buttons and got him to go out to start the rebellion. One wife that saved and one wife that destroyed. What was Korach thinking? His wife pressed the buttons of kavod, but that's only after it was already within him to start this in the first place. She instigated to get him to do it, but there was something that started with him himself. And in truth, Chazal tell us that what started within him wasn't necessarily a bad thing. Lehefech, the Zohar HaKadosh writes, and we find this in many Svarim HaKadoshim, that when Mashiach comes, you may be surprised who you're going to find out is going to be Kohen Gadol. Korach may be the Kohen Gadol Bizman HaMashiach. How would that make even sense? Because Chazal tell us that in truth, Korach originally started with a certain Shem Shamayim mindset to want to do more. He wanted to do more Avodat HaKodesh. He wasn't happy with just what he was doing. He wanted more. And this is why Moshe Rabbeinu says, Rav lachem b'nei Levi. I know you want to do more. And I know Ba'etzem, you're not opposing me just for the fight, but you want to do more Avodat HaKodesh. Ashrechem for that. But nonetheless, says Moshe Rabbeinu, Rav lachem, you already have enough. Borei Olam was not happy with this response. You tell a Jew that he has enough? He has a trukah. He has a drive. He wants to do more. You tell him you had already enough? It comes to Avodat HaKodesh. Is there ever enough? It comes to Limud Torah. Is there ever enough? And because of that, Moshe Rabbeinu, literally, midah keneged midah. He was in a certain way. I'm not going to use the word punished, but exactly word for word that he told Korach, Rav lachem b'nei Levi, is exactly what Hashem said back to him after he prayed 515 tefillot to go to Eretz Yisrael. Ravlach. Enough. You had enough. Unbelievable. Word for word. He said to Korach, Rav Lachem. Hashem says, you said to him, Rav Lachem. You said on his Avodat HaKodesh, Rav Lachem. You had enough? Then I'm going to say it back to you as well. Moshe Rabbeinu. 550 tefillot. You're the manig of Klal Yisrael. The one that walked them out of Egypt. Eseh Makot. Came up to Shamayim. Brought down Torah. Ravlach. Eretz Yisrael. Enough. Wow. Midah keneged midah. Never, ever tell a Jew that he had enough when it came to Avodat HaKodesh. Never, ever tell anyone, never give anyone the vibe that what they did was already enough. There's never enough. Lehefech. Lehefech. Mitzvah goreret mitzvah. Lehefech. Torah goreret Torah. You know how people become great in learning? They start learning. Just start. Don't make big cheshbonot. Just start the first page. You know how you finish a Masechet? Start the first page. That page leads to another page. That page leads to another page. And then when you finish that Masechet leads to another Masechet. And then when you finish that Masechet, the hunger to finish a third Masechet is even greater. And you want more. And now you are not going to be satiated until you finish Shas. Says Borei Olam, why did you tell him Ravlach? Never tell a Jew Ravlach. Why did you tell him Ravlach Hem B'nei Levi? If that's the case, Moshe Rabbeinu, when it comes to your Avodat HaKodesh, when it comes to Eretz Yisrael, Ravlach. This is an amazing idea. We are supposed to stimulate people to feel that sky is the limit, and lehefech, when it comes to Avodat HaKodesh, when it comes to Ruchaniyut, it works the opposite way of physicality. Physically, you can get filled on something. After a good meal, I'm stuffed. I can't eat another thing. In physicality, that's true. In spirituality, it's the opposite. In spirituality, the more you have, the more thirsty you are. The more you learn, the more you want. There's no such thing by a Jew as Ravlach. There's no such thing by a Jew when it comes to our Avodat HaKodesh. So Korach wanted. He really wanted. Amazing. And yet, the Makeh Upatish that brought him down was the fact that the kavod was ignited. Kol ha-posel b'mumo posel, says the Gemara. He was screaming to Moshe Rabbeinu, you're doing this for your kavod. But that was the giveaway. The minute he accused the Anav, the Anav, Mikol Adam, that he's doing it for kavod, that gave away his card. When Korach says something about Moshe, it says more about Korach than it does about Moshe. Kol ha-posel b'mumo posel. Famous Gemara. When someone sees bad in other people and it's constantly the same thing that he taps on, it's because that thing is his fault, not the other people's fault. And Korach had a problem with kavod. That was his weakness. Amazing. But he wanted so much to do Avodat HaKodesh. He wasn't satiated. He wanted more. I'd like to talk about this point for a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, Rabotai, open your hearts. Do you want to hear something fascinating? This amazing court case came in front of the Rav of Brisk. Forgive me, my voice is going on me. I'm not feeling well. But this amazing court case came in front of the Rav of Brisk. There were two paintings. These paintings were exactly alike. They were incredibly expensive. They were the only two paintings of their kind, exactly alike. We'll call them sister paintings. Very expensive. As an example, let's just say each one was worth $100,000 each. the owner of these two paintings got into a fight with another Jew. And in the fight, the guy that he was fighting with got so heated and so worked up, he did the unthinkable. He went and grabbed one of those two very expensive paintings, and he punched a hole through it, ripped it up, and destroyed it. Out of anger. People do crazy things out of anger. Totally out of control. And then after he realized what he did, he felt terrible. The owner of these two priceless paintings, he turns to the guy and he says, "You gotta pay me. You better pay me for the painting you destroyed. That's $100,000 painting." The guy turns back and says, "But wait 1 second. I don't owe you a thing." He says, "What?" He says, "Yeah, I don't owe you a thing." You see, because now that I ripped up that painting, the other painting is now worth so much more money. Because now it's one of a kind. Till now, when they were two, each was worth 100,000. But now that I destroyed one of them, the other one now is the last remaining sole one-of-a-kind masterpiece. Now that painting is worth $500,000. You owe me money. I did you a favor, he tells him. You got to love these guys. You bump into them. You know, the guy that you have a fender bender on the street, and he comes out telling you chakiris why he did you a favor by hitting your car. I had that once. It was unbelievable. It's incredible. The guy was mamish explaining to me that he did me the biggest favor in the world by hitting my car. He had a whole cheshbon because there was a bus coming. If he didn't hit my car wouldn't have swerved. Then when it swerved, he already made the cheshbon that I would have hit the bus, and then there were kids on the bus. Better a fender bender than a child. And I'm looking at the guy like, from what planet do you come from? It's amazing where people can go with these things. But nonetheless, that's what the guy told him with the paintings. He says, "Listen, buddy, yes, you're right. I was mazik biyadayim. Adamud Lailam, I was mazik biyadayim. I destroyed your painting, but now I did you a favor. The other painting is worth quadruple. Now it's a single masterpiece. Now it's worth $500,000. So I owe you nothing." So he took him to the court of Brisk. And he came into the Rav of Brisk, and he sat in front of the tribunal of Bedin. And the court case was placed out. And when the Rav of Brisk heard this court case, he said, "You know, this case reminds me of a famous case that we had many years ago in Brisk about a lady that lent 2 diamond earrings to her friend. She asked to borrow it for a simcha. Turns out, in the middle of the night, she was dancing, and she lost one. So she still has one, but she lost one. So she comes back to the one she borrowed it from the next day, and she says, I can't, I'm so horrified and embarrassed. I lost your earring, but I still have one." And she gives her back one earring. And she says, "I'll pay you for the other one." The lady says, "You'll pay me for the other one? What do you mean for the other one? You got to pay me for both. You can keep this. You got to pay me for both. What can I do with one earring? I can't wear one earring on one ear. It's useless. It's worthless. You got to pay me for 2 earrings." They went to court. They came in front of the Rav of Brisk. Does she have to pay for 2 earrings or 1 earring? No, Rabotai, what do you think? 2 earrings or 1 earring? The Rav of Brisk paskent, and this is an incredible klal and yesod, that in this world, it always goes by the maaseh that you did now. Here and now. He destroyed that one painting. He has to pay for that one painting. What do you mean? But look at the result that came out of what I did. The other painting is worth so much more. In this world, we don't look at results. In this world, we only look at actions. And that's why when it came to the lady, and she lost one earring, she has to pay for 1 earring. But what do you mean? Look at the result. Now, the lady that used to own the earrings can't wear them Because where's she going to do one earring? You're right. But in this world, we don't don results. In this world, we don maaseh. We don the here and the now of what you did. And what did she do? She lost an earring. She pays for an earring. But the results, now I can't use the other one. Results is only paid for in the next world. Actions are looked at in this world. What did you do? And therefore, you destroyed the painting, you pay for the painting, no matter what the results did to the other painting. You lost the earring, you pay for the earring, no matter what resulted in the use or non-use of the other earring. Says the Rav of Brisk, a great yesod, this world is all about what you do. The next world is all about the results of the way we lived and the things we did. This world, you get schar for what you did. Next world, you get schar for the results of what your lifetime spent doing. An unbelievable insight. And listen to this, Rabotai. You need to know that in the next world, the results are staggering. Staggering. Unbelievable. You went and you were makar of one person. You brought him over for one Shabbat. That person, that one person, that's all you did. That one person that you brought in, they enjoyed a Shabbat table. They were mesmerized by the Zemirot. They enjoyed the oneg. They enjoyed the warmth and the vibe and the kedusha of what a bayit of Shabbat looks like. This person decides he's going to start keeping Shabbat. One person gets married and he makes a Shomer Shabbat home. One family. That's what you did. One family. But this guy has 6 kids. And those kids have 6 kids. And those kids have 6 kids. And they're all Shomer Shabbat. It's a Shomer Shabbat family. Every time they keep another Shabbat, him, children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, in all sides of the family tree, it's you and the schar of your results in the next world. That's your pension plan in the next world. You want to talk about passive income? That's what the next world is all about. But this world, it's all about the doing. Next world, it's all about the results of what you did. Amazing. A hungry Jew is a Jew that's constantly looking to do so that the results will be kayam le'olmeh ad. Let me put another boat in the water. Let me activate another Jew. Let me be mechazik another broken heart. Let me make shalom between 2 broken shutafim, 2 partners that don't speak anymore. Let me go out to the shul and simply put out sidurim for people to pray with. But that sidur is a spiritual candy machine. Forgive me, I don't mean chas v'shalom to talk that way. It's just a mashal. Because every time someone uses that sidur that you brought to shul, you're getting the result, the passive income for as long as it's being used. That sidur can be used for 300 years. The guy passed away when he was 50, but he's still reaping rewards of tefillot to people that drop tears on the sidur that he brought to shul. The Sefer Torah that you brought to shul, every time they read it, it's yours. That's your results. And what about the Rebbe that teaches in a class? And his Talmidim go out, and they go out with the Hashkafa of Torah, and they build such homes. Exponential, I believe, is the English word that they use here. They love that word. Exponential. The results are just off the charts. Korach says, I want more. I want more. Korach was, Rabotai, listen to this. Korach was the most wealthiest man in a generation. He had, what did Chazal say? How many thousands of donkeys just to carry the keys for the otzarot of the wealth that he had? We don't even know what this means. We once gave a share. He found the wealth of Yosef HaTzadik. That was not the time. Once in a while. But he had more money than anyone in the generation. The richest man. Didn't do it for him. That's all the maaseh of this world. What's it going to do for me? Like Rav Shmuel Birnbaum used to say to my father, Yitzchak, how many steaks can you eat? You can have as much wealth as you can, but lamaisa, all you can do is eat one steak. No different than the guy that's just making a regular living. They're both eating the same steak. What do you mean? But this guy can afford 3,000 steaks. Yeah, he can afford it, but he can't eat it. And because of that, Korach says, with all my wealth, what is it doing for me? This world is only about maaseh. I don't want maaseh. What's maaseh? It's here today, it's gone tomorrow. I want results. I want the results. That's kayam le'olme'ah, that never stops. I want the wealth in the next world. I want to be Kohen Gadol. I want to bring korbanot, to bring a kapara for another Jew. And that kapara will make him a better Jew. And now everything that he does better is going to be in my result account. Don't hold me back from Avodat HaKodesh. This was Korach. And hence you understand why the Sifrei Kabbalah say that Be'etzem, he may be Kohen Gadol when Mashiach comes. Because this was really his cheshbon. And it makes sense. Because if his dagesh was really about belittling this world, but wanting more for the results of the next world, in the Zman of Mashiach, that's the time of Me'en Olam Haba, Yom Shabbat Menucha, Zman Mashiach. And if that was the time he was really shooting for, that might be the time he's going to actually get what he really wanted. Kohen Gadolship. Unbelievable. This is an amazing thought. You know, from all places, to bring out the concept of the actions of this world versus the results of the next world. The fight of what Korach wanted and what he really was after, and how his wife instigated him in the wrong direction, running with the kavod factor rather than the result factor. But at the end of the day, it's interesting that from Korach this is brought out. Rav lachem b'nei Levi. Why is that? This message can be brought through anyone in Tanakh. Everyone in Tanakh, their gadlut was their thirst to want to do great things. Their drive to want to stand up for what they believe in. Go out and do great things. Go out and overcome the challenges. Go out and be great in spite of the generation and everything that was wrong at the times that they were living. And they weren't schlepped away by the influence, but they stood for Hashem. Isn't that the message of so many in Tanakh? And yet it's from Korach. Rabotai, I want you to hear something. At first glance, I want to tell you the story about Ames. There was a construction company, high class, high line, New York City. They were on top of one of these skyscraper buildings, big, beautiful, posh office. You walked in, you thought you walked into some sort of a high-end law firm. Construction company. They made very top of the line, very super expensive, wealthy houses. Their clientele was from the wealthiest on the planet. People didn't know the secret of this company. They were so successful because they had one guy that was so talented. His name was Ames. Now, Ames was not the head of the company, nor the vice president. He was simply one of the great managers of this wonderful company, but he put them on the map. He put them on the map. It was his work that they flaunted. It was his reputation that brought the company incredible wealth and prestige. Ames, you could imagine, was being paid incredibly well. And it came to a point in life where he was still young and he made enough money. He made more money than he could spend. So Ames walks into the office of the VP, the vice president. He says, Mr. Vice President, thank you for all these years that you gave me a great opportunity to work here. But I think it's time for me to go back and start enjoying what life really should be. I should start giving some time to my wife. I should start giving some time to my children, quality time, family time. I shunned them all these years just for my job, flying to different parts of the world to make these exotic houses. It's time. And the VP says, I understand. But Ames, without you, the company will not survive. You're our cleanup hitter. You're our star, our super star salesman, builder, contractor. Nobody can do what Ames can do. So Ames, come on, between me and you, what is this really about? Promotion? Is that what it is? Come. I'll throw you a number. Tell me if I'm in the ballpark of what you're thinking. Ames says, no, sir, you don't get it. Really, this is not a negotiation. I already made enough money. I can't even spend what I already made. I just feel that it's my time. It's my time to retire and go back and enjoy life while I'm still healthy and young. Vice President says, come on, Ames, what is this about? Come on, the truth. Tell me. Come on, because everything in life is about money. You know that. Come on. Tell me the truth. What is it? Is it really money? Do I have to give you a better number, a bigger number? He says, no, Mr. Vice President, I'll tell you it's not about that. I know what it's about. It's about being partner, isn't it? You want to be partner in the company, isn't it? Ames, listen to me. I knew this day would come. The VP leans back at this point, and he lights up a cigar. I knew the day I saw you walked into this company, I knew you were an all-star. I knew you were going places. I knew it. And I knew this day would come that I would offer you partner with the company. You'll be a junior partner together with us senior boys. Yeah. Ames, if that's what this is about, I think we can work something out. Ames says, Mr. Vice President, you don't understand. It's not about partner. It's not about money. I'm done. I just want to retire. I want to live life. I'm done. Vice President saw that he was real. He wasn't letting go. So Vice President turns to him and says, okay, listen, I see that your mind is set up. I can't sway you. But I need to ask one favor. We've been together for a few decades. One favor. Don't walk out on me so abrupt. I already signed a deal. And I promise that you're going to build it. He picks up the file and he says, you see this? This is your next exotic house. But now, I respect your decision. This will be your last exotic house. Do this deal and then I'll let you retire. I already signed. We already took a deposit from the people. Ames says, okay, I guess that's only fair. I didn't give you a full warning. You signed because of me. I'm not going to keep you hanging dry. All right. He takes the file. He looks. He says, wow, it's magnificent, this house. He says, yeah. Look at the architectural plans. It's at the edge of this cliff overlooking the ocean. It's at the edge of a cliff overlooking the ocean. It's something breathtaking. Ames, build this house. You're free to go. Ames says, okay. All right, you got a deal. Ames takes the file under arm, walks out, tells his wife and children, bear with me. one last job. But you'll see, it'll take me 8 months to build this house, but after that, I'm done. I'm coming home, I'm going to be a dad, I'm going to be a husband. That's it. Well, he goes out to the job and he begins to build. In the back of the mind of Ames, he's thinking to himself, I can't wait till this job is over. This is it. This is my curtain call. My last job. Yeah, let me just get this thing done. And he did not build the house the way a real Ames house was built, on the reputation of over the years. Because he knew that this house was the time lock. The minute he's done with this house, it's all over. So he builds the house, but it wasn't exactly as perfect as a true Ames home. And the foundation was a drop-off, but he didn't make a big deal out of it. Normally, you would never hear of such a thing. And the beams were a centimeter slightly off, but okay, big deal. Would anyone notice? I have no clue. You have to live in the house for 20 years to start noticing that things are starting to creak and crack. They'll never know. I just went out of here. And he built the house half-heartedly. And even the doors weren't exactly, but it was good enough. And at the end, he finishes in record-breaking time. Instead of it taking the normal 8 months of an Ames home of perfection, it turned 6 months of a home that he was yotzeh with, good enough, because I'm done. I'm out. I'm yotzeh. And after 6 months, he comes back to the VP and he says, Sir, in record-breaking timing, I finished the home. And now, as you promised, I'm free to go. I'm done. And he had a big smile on his face. Thank you, sir. Shakes the VP's hand. Turns around, is about to leave. And as he's about to leave, the vice president says, Ames, wait. Before you go, I'd like to give you something as a thank you for the incredible work and how you raised this company like no one else, and how our reputation was built on yours, and how what you did over the years for this company, we cannot repay you. But at least when we put our heads together, we thought that the best parting gift that we can give Ames is a magnificent Ames-built home. Here's the keys to your home. And he hands him the keys to the home he just built. And Ames looks down at the keys. And he looks at the vice president. And he looks back at the keys and he says, Oy vey! If I would have known I was building my home, wow, I would have put into that so much more of a feel. I would have given it everything I had, instead of just schlepping through it to be yotzeh to get it over with. He says the Baalei Musar, Ames, that's me and you. What you don't realize is, Hashem tells us, what you're building in this world is your home for the next world. You want to go through life just being yotzeh? You want to go through life, Torah, mitzvot? It's good enough. I missed a minyan here. All right, so I didn't do chazara. Big deal. I'll get it the next time around, Daf Yomi comes around. If that's the attitude, then when you get upstairs, they're going to say to you, and here's your home. And they're going to hand you the keys. And the doors are going to be a little off. And the foundation is going to be a little off. And the beams of the house is going to be creaking. And you're going to say, Gewalt, if I knew I was building my home, I would have put heart and soul. Every day of your life, you're writing another chapter of the legacy that you'll leave behind for your kids to read about one day. But you're also building your home in the next world. The results of everything you did and the way you did it. This world is about action. The next world is about the results. Korach knew a secret. a secret that I want you to hear. There's no bigger results in the next world than on the actions that are placed in the tzibur in this world. The zechut hatzibur, it brings out, it renders, it returns the greatest results beyond human calculation in the world to come. If you really want to bank on this concept, and if you want to come to a fantastic surprise of results she'en l'sha'er in the next world, get involved with putting your actions in the tzibur. Korach wanted to do for Klal Yisrael. Before his kavod got in his way, before the wife started pressing the wrong buttons and destroyed a husband, unlike the wife of On ben Pelet. But he had a first glance tshuka. I want to be Kohen Gadol, so I could be makriv all the korbanot of the tzibur, because I know the secret. I'm building for the results of the coming world, and there are no results like the results that come out of the good at tzibur. I want to end off and tell you something fantastic. I heard this from one of my Rosh Yeshivot, Rabbi Elephant from Yeshivat Itri. Zichrono Lebracha. I want you to hear, he told me when he was learning in Beis HaTalmud by Reb Leib Malin, Zechet Tzadik Lebracha, Chidush Reb Aryeh Leib. I'm sure all the guys out there who learned in yeshiva remember that sefer, especially in Baba Kama, Baba Metzia, Baba Bal. Reb Leib Malin. It's unbelievable, fantastic lamdan. Talmud of Briskerov. Reb Leib Malin. Listen to this unbelievable ma'isa. Rabbi Elephant told me that one day he walked into Yeshiva Bein Hasdarim. Nobody was there. And he sees two legs, literally, sticking out of the floor of the bathroom, as if someone was laying face down on the floor of the bathroom with his legs protruding outside the door. At first it looked like someone fainted. So Rabbi Elephant told me he ran up there to see what in the world to help the person, and he couldn't believe his eyes. Those legs sticking out of the bathroom belonged to none other than the Rosh Yeshiva, Reb Leib Malin. What does he see? He sees Reb Leib is on the floor, scrubbing the floor of the bathroom with his hands. He's cleaning the bathroom floor on hands and knees. Reb Leib Malin, do you understand what I'm telling you here? Gadol Hador, it's a Gaon. So Rabbi Elephant screamed, Rosh Yeshiva, what are you doing? He jumps down on the floor, he grabs him by the arm, he schleps him up, he says, I'll do it, what are you doing? Reb Leib looks at him, he says to him, Modcha, let me tell you a secret in life. Listen to this secret. The secret of Reb Leib Malin. He says, when you go to the big city, he said, and you come to one of these big posh hotels, you go to, you go to the Hilton in New York City, the New York Hilton, right? High line. You come inside and you sit in the lobby, magnificent, beautiful, posh lobby. And you have someone there on the piano, plush carpets, magnificent, comfy couches. You have waiters and people walking in and out. Those who went on dates there, you know what I'm talking about. And a waiter comes up and says, sir, can I bring you a drink? Can I get you something from the bar? You say, yeah. I'll have a cup of Coke. And they bring you a cup of Coke. How much, ask Reb Leib, how much are you paying for that cup, that glass of Coca-Cola? How much are you paying? At least $5, $6 for that cup of Coca-Cola. $5, $6? It's not even a can. It's a cup. $5, $6? And wait, you got a tip. You got a tip. For a cup of Coca-Cola? Yeah. But Reb Leib says, I don't get it. He says, Well, how could they get away with that? Says Reb Leib, I'll tell you the secret. Because you're a guest in the hotel, so when you order up that Coke, you're not just paying for the Coca-Cola. You're paying for the service. You're paying for the guy playing the piano. You're paying for the plush carpet you're walking on. You're paying for the plush couch that you're sitting on. In English, there's a word called the ambiance. You are paying for the entire experience. You're paying for the ambiance. And it's all in that $5-6 that you're paying for that one little glass of Coke, that 3/4 of it is ice. But you're paying for everything, all the ambiance. Says Reb Leib, I want to ask you something. Malcha, if that waiter who brought you the cup of Coke that you just paid $5-6 for, if that waiter would go back to the kitchen of the New York Hilton, because he's working all day, he's tired, he's on his feet, and he asks the back kitchen, hey, can I get a cup of Coke to drink just for a moment? Just catch my breath before I go out and continue working my shift. They give him a cup of Coke. The waiter drinks the cup of Coke. How much does the waiter pay for that cup of Coke? Says Reb Leib, if he pays anything at all, they'll charge him pennies. Cost price of whatever it costs the hotel. And even that probably they wouldn't charge him. They'd give it for free because why? He works for the hotel. Whereas you sitting on the plush couches, you're a guest. It's expensive to be a guest in a hotel. The secret in life, said Reb Leib, is to be a waiter of the hotel. Says Reb Leib Malin, when a person goes upstairs after 120 years, he's going to say, wait 1 second. Where's my zchuyot? Where's all my mitzvahs? My mitzvot, my Torah, my maasim tovim? What's going on here? How come the count is empty? A whole lifetime. All I did was put away and put away and put away and do and do and do and do. I did so much. Where's the results? Where's the mitzvot? Where's the zchuyot? And they say, well, sir, listen. You know, we gave you a wonderful wife, beautiful children. We gave you a magnificent house on Ocean Parkway. You were driving around in an $80,000 car. These things cost money. You went through the world, the great hotel of God, living as a guest. It was all about taking. It was all about you. To be a guest in God's hotel is very, very expensive. That costs top dollar. Even for a cup of Coke, you're paying $6. And that wipes out so much in our account. The secret of this world is to be a waiter in the world of God's great hotel. Work for the tzibur. Do for the tzibur. Service the tzibur. And then, even if they do charge you in the hotel of God, they charge you pennies. Cost price. If anything at all. Why? Because you worked for the establishment. All your maasim were l'shem Klal Yisrael. All your maasim was for Klal. I want to do for the shul. I want to do for the yeshiva. I want to do for the kollel. I want to do for the Beit Yaakov. I want to help. I want to do. Those people, they come to the next world. Their maasim are still there, and the results are exponential. There we go. We hit that word again. Their results is exponential. That's the secret of this world. We should be zocheh that our maasim in this world should be in the way of those great oskeim b'tzorchei tzibur be'emunah. Shakadosh Baruch Hu yishalem scharam. And we should be zocheh to be the waiters of the great hotel of Hashem. So like this, when we get to the next world, we can have the amazing results that one could only fathom. Thank you for listening.